Scream 7 is still a ways away, and we obviously have no idea who the Ghostfaces will be, but let's discuss some possible motives.
Certain rules. Push the laws and you end up dead.
This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life.
Not in my movie.
Surprise, Sydney.
He's gone mad.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
A very simple formula.
You want to play psycho killer?
Everybody's a suspect.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I think it's gonna go something like this.
I'm Pamela, welcome back to the channel. So in a recent live stream of mine, someone asked me, what do I think Ghostface's motive will be in Scream 7? And I didn't really have an answer. I wanted to kind of think about it a little bit more, put some thought into it, make an actual video for you guys. So let's just get right into it. Now, starting off strong, we just gotta go with revenge against Sidney Prescott. We know that she is back as the focus of Scream 7, so the motive is gonna have to do with her, no matter who Ghostface is. And I do think revenge is always the best motive, honestly, just like Nancy Loomis says in Scream 2.
It's good old-fashioned revenge.
So in Scream 7, Ghostface could target Sidney due to her history of surviving multiple killing sprees, possibly blaming her for inspiring copycat killers or causing personal loss. What if Ghostface ends up being someone who lost a family member or something because of Sidney? Obviously, that's not super original. We've kind of done that before with like Nancy Loomis in Scream 2. She wanted revenge for her son's death. Same thing with the Bailey family in Scream 6. Their brother and son was killed in the previous movie, so they wanted revenge on Sam. So these new killers could want revenge on Sidney. I don't know if it'll be for personal loss, but maybe just blaming her for inspiring copycat killers, which would be ironic because these new killers would be copycat killers. So I don't really know about that. But another possible motive is maybe wanting to end the Stab franchise legacy. Ghostface might aim to eliminate all survivors of previous Scream or Stab attacks to end the franchise's cycle of violence. This could involve targeting Sidney, GALE, the twins, and aiming to wipe out the legacy entirely. Of course, this one would also be a little ironic because, you know, they're aiming to end the Stab franchise legacy, but by doing so, they're continuing it themselves. Another possible motive is fame, which obviously we've seen before with Jill in Scream 4 and sort of Mickey in Scream 2. He wanted to get caught. So maybe this new killer could be driven by a desire for notoriety and wanting to become the most infamous Ghostface by outdoing the past killers. Now, you guys know I have to bring up the Ghostface cult and Stu Macher, so I am a Stu believer. I do think Stu Macher will be alive in Scream 7, leading a Ghostface cult. So I do think his motive is revenge against Sidney for almost killing him in the first movie and for foiling his plan. And if he has the cult members, they idolize Stu, and they're gonna target Sidney to prove their devotion to Stu. So all of these cult members are just gonna be crazy obsessed fans. If Stu is leading the cult, I don't know if the cult members will have their own separate motive. I think it's more just devotion to Stu, and Stu's motive would be revenge. It's possible that he's recruited some cult members who do have some kind of connection to Sidney with personal loss of the past. Maybe family members of the cult members have been past victims, like maybe Derek from Scream 2, maybe he had some siblings, or some people think maybe Roman had a son. I don't know about that, but you never know, anything's possible. Maybe Stu has been seeking out these people who have some kind of connection or history with Sidney. And now we know that Scream always has some kind of meta commentary on something. So maybe a possible motive for Scream 7 is just Sidney's plot armor. We know that she survives every single movie, and Ghostface might target Sidney for her plot armor, which is a trope where protagonists unrealistically survive repeated attacks. And some kind of film geek killer could resent Sidney's survival and aim to subvert horror movie cliches by killing her. I mean, that could sort of be a fresh motive, just wanting to kill her once and for all because of this crazy plot armor that she has. Now, kind of getting back to the whole personal loss motive, I gotta bring up Leslie Macher. So this is a theory that we've talked about here on the channel plenty of times in past videos and live streams. I do think Leslie Macher might be in Scream 7, possibly played by Anna Camp. As we know, Leslie Macher is Stu Macher's sister, who was mentioned in Scream 5. Her son Vince was killed. So she might want revenge on Sydney for getting her son killed, even if Sydney wasn't actually responsible. Also, Vince was kind of more connected to Sam and Sam's story. But, you know, just Sydney being the start of this all back in '96, inspiring copycat killers, leading to everything that's happened in the past 3 decades almost. Maybe Leslie will blame Sydney for the death of her son, or for ruining her brother's life. Maybe she's working with Stu. Maybe she's kept him in hiding all these years. Maybe she's given him money. We know that their family has money. Stu, having to be in hiding, probably can't work an actual job and earn an income of his own. So maybe she's been financing him, and she just wants revenge on Sydney for ruining her brother's life. And God forbid, let's say Stu's not alive, which I believe he's alive, but let's say he's dead and doesn't come back alive. Maybe she just wants revenge for the murder of her brother. So just getting back to that whole personal loss motive. And of course, we could have a killer who is related to a past killer, which has been done before, and I know a lot of fans don't want to see that again. People are kind of over the whole relative thing. You know, Nancy Loomis was Billy's mother. Roman was Sydney's half-brother. Jill was Sydney's cousin. The Bailey family was related to Richie, so it has been done a bunch of times. But there's some fan theories out there, like I mentioned earlier. Maybe Roman had a kid. Maybe Stu has a kid who's doing the killings now. Like I mentioned, Leslie Macher would be another relative of a past killer. Now, another possible motive could be career-driven. We know that it's rumored that Gale has a rival in Scream 7, possibly played by Mark Consuelos. I think his character name is Robbie. Now, I don't think he's Ghostface. I do kind of think he's there to add to the kill count. I also don't think Mark Consuelos filmed for that long, so that does kind of tell me that he's gonna die. But what if Gale has some sort of rival, another reporter, who could want to use the killings to boost their own fame? And there's a lot of fan theories out there over the years with like Gale possibly being a killer, which I don't think is going to happen. That's not what I'm saying. But if Gale had turned out to be a killer, her motive could have been using the killings to boost her own fame, which Randy kind of gets into in Scream 2. He says something like, you know, reporters stage the news. Maybe that's what Gale was doing. So maybe Gale has another reporter rival, and that could be their motive, trying to boost their career. And then of course we could have like a personal betrayal with Sydney's husband Mark. What if he ends up being Ghostface? I don't know how likely it is, but it would be a huge betrayal. Don't know exactly what his motive would be, because he's been playing a long game if he's the killer. They've been together for years, they have multiple kids together, and one of her daughters is, I think, going to be 17 years old, so they've been together for a very long time. So what could his motive be? I don't know exactly. If you have any ideas, definitely leave a comment down below. I know there's also some fan theories out there. Maybe her daughter will be a killer, which I really hope not. I think that will be super dark and super sad for Sydney. I mean, just think about how much of a betrayal Jill's reveal was. Her own cousin, who she grew up with. And Sydney knew her since she was a kid. And for her to grow up and be a Ghostface, that's already a huge betrayal. So to have her own daughter, who she gave birth to and raised, that would be so dark. It would kind of be a good twist because I wouldn't see it coming. I would feel betrayed as an audience member. And if her daughter is the killer, then her motive could just be thinking that Sydney ruined her life. You know, maybe kids teased her when she was young. It makes me think of Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 4, where all these kids are teasing her that her uncle is the boogeyman. Maybe her daughter, played by Isabel May, had to go through a similar childhood where people teased her about her mother's history. Maybe people still give her a hard time in high school to this day. I could see that happening where kids give her a hard time because Kids are messed up sometimes. Maybe she's been bullied her whole life and it's just done such a number on her psyche and she becomes a killer. Maybe her boyfriend convinced her to become a killer with her. Like, convinced her, your mother ruined your life. Let's kill her and put an end to it once and for all. I don't know about that. That seems pretty crazy, but you just never know. They do have to do something big in Scream 7. They need to up the stakes, so we'll see. But that's about it. Those are all of the possible motives that I can think of for now. If I can come up with any more, I will do a future video, but my main thing is Stu wanting revenge. That is what I think is going to be the main plot of the movie. Sidney ruined his plan back in '96, almost killed him, and now he wants revenge, and he's been plotting and planning for the past almost 30 years, and he is ready to come out of hiding and get his revenge on Sidney with the help of his cult members. But that is it for today. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on future Scream 7 videos. Any updates that we get will be posted here to the channel, and any future theories or predictions that I might have, you can also expect those videos to be posted here. Please also go follow me over on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and I will be right back.